Good morning, everyone. I'm RGX coach and mentor Dan Bubany, and twice a month we spotlight yet another RGX coach. I see you, Jake Cook, who's experiencing life-changing results. And look, while it sounds too good to be true, and look, I'll admit, I was just as skeptical as you are. Attaining greater work-life balance, making more money than you ever have before, growing your business, or even just running it more efficiently. Look, these are genuine success stories from real people just like you and me. Blake Jirges is Director of Player Development at Coto de Caza Golf and Racket Club in Coto de Caza, California. He's only been with RGX since August of 2021, the last 5 months, but yet he has another amazing success story to share. Blake will do his presentation for about 30 minutes or so, followed by a 15-minute Q&A, and then we'll wrap it up about a quarter till the hour. As always, please keep yourself muted. Hold your questions until the end of the presentation, and I'll be monitoring your questions and comments in the chat. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Blake Jirges. Blake?
Thanks, Dan. I appreciate it. And thanks for the kind introduction. Really excited to be sharing you guys with my story and my journey with RGX and where I've been with my development. And my story kind of is a little bit different than maybe some of the other RGX members, where money wasn't really my issue. It wasn't I was making enough money. It wasn't about a little bit of work-life balance. It was more of my coaching and my ability and my who I was as a coach. So if you look at my quote below, it says, "What is my opportunity now?" And something that I heard from one of my good friends, Josh Alpert, and how important that is to really recognize and to really showcase on where I'm at with my journey and what can I do today that's going to better me tomorrow. So kind of a little bit about myself. As you can see, that's my lovely family, my wife, Kaylee, my 2-year-old daughter, Adeline, and my 1-year-old daughter, Juliet. It is a busy household for sure. And as a new father, it was kind of super important for me to take care of my family first and work second. I'll kind of talk about that a little bit later. But yeah, just a little bit about myself. I'm a PGA certified member since 2015, US Kids Top 50 Master Coach, GRA 100 Growth of the Game, SPJ Board Director, Committee Member, TPI certified. I've done the education. I've done the one-day seminars. I've done the development within our section, and am really excited for the journey ahead. But this, just the picture of my family just really showcases who I am as a coach and the relationships I build on and off the field of golf. So a little bit about the next slide, Dan. So kind of my challenges where I started with before RGX, a kind of a little bit story, but I've known Will for about 7-8 years now when I was up in Northern California section. And him and I were very connected in the US kids world. We were sharing ideas, we're sharing stories about kind of the goods and the bads and where we see junior golf going. And I remember Will was kind of ahead of his time with kind of the conversations we had. And so kind of fast forward back in about March of 2020, I was kind of struggling, or 2021, I was struggling with kind of where I was at within myself and with my development. I was at an academy for 5 years. I grew the business from $0 to $1 million business within a 2-year period. It was very successful. I just didn't know where I was at. I was always working really hard. I worked 60 hours a week. I grinded every single day. I was texting, emailing on my days off. And it was a constant battle with even just having a new family, a new marriage. Just want to make sure that I wasn't taking care of that. And so I started a new position at Coto de Caza, where I'm the Director of Player Development. And it's been a great start to my journey, and kind of where I was on a leadership position now, and I was able to oversee all coaching programs. I knew there's many things that I wanted. I wanted to spend more time with my family. That was my number one thing. I wanted more time because I had a long commute. I was driving 45 minutes to the facility there and back. Sometimes it took an hour with traffic, being in Southern California. But that was my main passion and or my struggle. And when I was here, I was hoping to figure out where I was going to be standing with our membership. I was taking every lesson I could possibly have. I started junior academy. So I went from 0 juniors to 75 juniors in a 3-month period. So now I was known as a junior golf coach again. When I was at my last facility, I was a junior coach. And one of the things I struggled with was I didn't know who I wanted to coach and what I wanted, like what kind of coach I wanted to be. I felt lost. I knew I wanted something different. And so I remember having a conversation with Will and kind of going through my story. And he's like, Blake, you know what, just be patient. You know what, you just start your facility, ask as many questions, get to know these people. And I was like, Will, I want to get started. I want the scoring method for one. So like, give me the scoring method. That's going to change my whole business. He's like, Blake, the scoring method is not your thing. It's not there yet. It may be down the road, but I feel like there's something more that you need to self-discover. And so I took his advice and we waited about 6 months before I started with my RGX journey. When August of 2015 was when we had a real conversation of, hey, this is a time to change. This is a time that you've grown the business. You've seen the success. Money's not an issue, but you're still struggling with who you are as a coach. And you're still struggling with, and I was struggling with who I was, who I wanted to be, and what did I want to make this my journey to being. So when I was going through my development with the next slide there, Dan, was kind of my beliefs and my why and why I wanted to coach. And to be honest, Will asked me, why do you coach? And I was like, oh, because I love the game of golf and I think it's a great game. It's given me a lot. And he's like, Blake, is that really truly your why? And I was like, I don't know. I was really struggling with that. And I didn't know what I believed in. I mean, I'm an experienced golf coach. I've super successful. And yet internally, I just didn't know. I didn't have the people that surrounded me that really took in a mentorship in me. So I really wanted to know my beliefs and my why. I wanted to be challenged as well, like the challenge of growing as a coach. And like I told you guys earlier, I did the 1-day seminars. I've done the TPI training. I've gone with Mike Adams. I've done extraordinary golf. I've been to every annual summit. I've been to the PGA summit. Yet I get some good nuggets, but it's not really longer lasting. It hasn't shaped my career as RGX has done. And the coaches coaching coaches is the main, like my biggest thing with the RGX and why it's kind of transformed my life in a way where I now believe in certain things and I know my why. And the coaches and mentors have supported me continuously. I mean, with Jay and Dan and Paul and Will, these guys and my current people that I work with on a weekly basis. It's just the community and the challenge that they put in front of in front of yourselves. That's the most important part of the RGX journey. And kind of want to go into my beliefs and my why right now. My why I coach is I believe in creating a physical and emotional impact on somebody's life through the game of golf. The key areas that I see is physical, emotional, impact. Those three, the physical and emotional impact, are key things for me. Golf is just a sport that we live in, a sport that we love. But we are people and we are in a people business. We have the relationships that we have with others. And the physical part is the skill development with the golf, but the emotional is probably the most important part. It's funny. I had this, I did this program called 10 shots lower in 10 weeks. And I have this lady who is brand new to golf, probably shoots 120, 130 was really struggling on just hitting the golf ball. I gave her a few private lessons prior to the program. We got her hitting it really well. And we got in this group setting with 3 other people, one being her husband and 2 others that she had no idea who they were. And they're in a similar like-minded environment. And she was so nervous. And man, when she was playing the first day on our session, she was so down on herself. She was negative. It was really challenging for her to really see any sort of positive in her life. Over the week period and over a 3-4 week period, even it still was negative. It still was really challenging for her, yet she was still there. I mean, unbelievable. This lady was struggling. She was hitting the ball great, by the way. She was a phenomenal athlete, and we started seeing results, and people were like, man, she hits the ball so well, but why is she so negative? And I remember talking to my team about this during the middle of this time. And during the 5th and between the 5th and 6th week of the class, she shoots 99. And oh my gosh, the smile on her face, the joy that came from it. She's like, how are you feeling? She's like, this feels so amazing. This feels so great. What happened? I was like, I wasn't thinking. I was trusting the process that you kind of displayed in front of me. And over the period of the next 4 or 5 weeks, we started seeing a shift in her mindset and her emotional being. And that was one of the coolest things I've seen. And she's, what an amazing woman she is today. And I know that she may not see that right now, but the whole group saw it, and the whole group saw her transformation within herself. And so when I go back to my why, it's the emotional impact on somebody's life. That is what we do. So that was one of my favorite stories so far with RGX journey. And my beliefs. I mean, I currently coach right now elite junior golfers. I know who I coach. I know who my people are now. I coach elite junior golfers between the ages of 12 and 14. I coach committed golfers that are, whether they're shooting over 100 or even they're shooting in the 80s. And I coach a group of guys that we go and play in pro-ams together. So I have a core student base now where I know who I want to coach. I know when I'm coaching them, and I have I have my schedule out months in advance now. And so what my beliefs are is I believe I can nurture and guide junior golfers to become great human beings, most importantly, and better golfers. I believe in learning to play golf on the golf course is transformational. And I believe in confidence and self-belief are the keys to sustainable and winning performances. Confidence and self-belief. Nothing in there has to do with the technical parts of instruction. It doesn't have anything to do with how you chip better or how you putt better. It's about the human beings, golf course, how to play the game, and confidence and self-belief. Most valuable things that I've come to realize during this program. And with my goals, it was I want to play more golf. Like I for a whole year I didn't play golf, and my game struggled. And so I was hitting golf shots, and I was just hitting such poor ones. I was like, man, I just want to play more golf. That was a key to my part of my goals, and being with my family was a very important piece. Like I was here probably like 50 hours a week, and not saying that that's not a lot or a little, but I wanted to be here for 40 hours a week and be commuting for the rest of the time. And if I could live down here, I would. And hopefully I can in the future to save more time. But that was right now with I know I've kind of fast forward with my the slides and everything, but I've saved about 5 hours of time and probably have even made more money than I have even last year. So that was a very, very important for me. And I mean, with my journey with the PGA, I mean, I don't think I've ever told Will this, but I think I might have told Dan this, but when I did the ADM certification, and I've known Will again for 8 years, I went through this ADM certification about 3 years ago when it first kind of launched. And I saw Will in that program. I was like, wow, like, man, this is a coaching environment. I love the coaching environment. Let's continue with this. Let's keep learning, keep growing. And I just got so many nuggets from that, from the ADM certification. So if you haven't gone through the ADM certification, I highly recommend you do that. That's going to be some of the most impactful things. And have a discussion with some of the RGX coaches with ADM. I know Dan shared his story, and that's how he got to know Will. So that's really cool. And I mean, PJ certified, and the PJ coach, how it's gotten me some more business as well. That was been, if you haven't made your coach profile, please do so. That is going to be only helpful to you to continue growing your business. I was a part of Make Golf Your Thing, which was a initiative from the PGA to, when COVID is happening, how do we continue growing the game? And I'm a current SCBJ board of director, which is kind of giving me some of the avenues that I may not have seen in the past, with making a bigger impact. So some of the things I've accomplished with within RGX, and even throughout my development before RGX, when I first came to Coto Caza, I grew the academy business from $160,000 to $485,000, which is a 333% in my first year of being here, within a coaching environment, similar to what we run. I've 3 times plus more on my investment with RGX. I currently stand by my beliefs and my why, and I'm confident with my coaching. I remember, if I rewind myself a year ago, when I first had my conversation with Will, like, I wasn't confident with who I was. I wasn't believing in my ability to make a difference and to be known as the kind of coach I want to be. And I knew that was something different. And even going through some of the programs with our results-based coaching, or even our deep dive with Jay. I mean, I think Jay's challenged me probably more than anybody here, with kind of who I am as a coach and why I do coach. And he's challenged me in a way that I can learn more about myself, not just by my beliefs, my coaching. Like, that's the thing, is like, I feel like I'm a really good instructor. I know the golf swing in and out. I'm really good at building a coaching model and a coaching business, but there was something missing internally and inside me that I didn't know what I wanted. So that was kind of some of the things that I've learned through this period in time. And so what I want to challenge everybody here is, why do you coach golf? Why are you in this business that you are in? Why do you feel like you can make a difference in somebody's life? Do you actually know your why? I didn't, and I am confident today that I do. What do you believe when it comes to coaching? Do you just believe in just giving golf lessons and swing tips and working on the driver? Do you feel like you believe in getting people into, like, do you feel like you just kind of serve others? Do you feel like you serve the people that come to you and that say, hey, I just need help on this? And are you providing that, or are you giving them what they really need? So what do you believe in when it comes to coaching? And family first and work second. That's kind of my RGX, I think, experience in a way. Like, the idea that my family is the most important part of my life. So how can I, one, provide a sustainable living for them? How do I give them the life that they need? How can I be a present father in their life and be a role model when it comes to finding a work-life balance? I've had many conversations with other coaches and the struggle that they have seen with this experience, where they're working 60 hours a week, 80 hours a week. They don't know how to change up their model. They don't know where to go. And they're working 60 or 80 hours a week, and they're making effectively not as much money as they could be. And so when I got challenged with RGX, I needed to figure out kind of that piece was the most important piece. And that's what revolves around my RGX experience was, how do I do that? How do I make my family the priority? And how do I make work a success and make me want to do what I truly love? I love being a golf coach. I love being a transformational piece into people's lives. It's funny. I even had this conversation yesterday with one of my clients, and it was an adult client. And I asked him, "Hey, remember your favorite teacher when you're in elementary school? Do you remember that teacher that really transformed your life? Do you remember the teacher that you wish you had through your whole childhood?" I mean, let's try this out right now. Think about that teacher right now. Think about the elementary school teacher, the high school teacher, the college professor, whoever it was. And imagine that person was your teacher throughout your experience in your life and all of your education. I mean, that's what I want to see with all of my students, especially the ones that I'm coaching in my elite golf performance program, where I have these 12 and 14-year-olds where I can make a difference in their lives. I can be a role model, just like I am a role model to my family. I can be a part of their story, that not when they go to college, that they remember me for not just the swing instruction I gave them, or the short game lesson I gave them, or the on-course coaching we did. It's hey, Coach Blake was a good person. He cared about me. He truly was the person that was inspiring me to become a better golfer, and not just better golfer, but a better person. And we look at that story and we try to challenge ourselves to get to that place. And kind of my why in my coaching is based on that, creating a physical and emotional impact on somebody's life through the game of golf. So when I hope that today, after my RGX experience, and with my like I said, my experience with RGX is completely different than a lot of others. I'm, like I said, very successful when it comes into how much money I was making, very successful coach. But I know many of you today on this call, or looking at this call later down, that see this on a future date. Do you have this, do you know why you golf, why you coach golf, why you're here in this business? And if you do, share it. If you don't, like, the program is going to make you more money, save you more time, and really know who you are as a coach. So if I can preach anything out today, is, and kind of talking about rewinding about coaches coaching coaches. It's kind of a crazy thing to say, but we coach our students so often, and we want them to get better. We want them to practice as much as possible. If we had if it was our, if it was sustainable, we would love to see our students, our favorite students, I mean, for every day, if possible. If we can see them for every day, then we'd be super happy. They would get better at golf, and it's going to be a win-win for everybody. So why do we look at people's golf games and we wish we want to see them more often? Yet when we are looking at ourselves, are we truly getting coached? Are we truly getting the mentorship that we need and we need to develop? And if you say you do, that's great. More coaches, the better. And the mentors with RGX have gone through similar stories to all of us, myself and many others that have gone through the program have been where a lot of you are at today. So it doesn't make sense for us to make a long-term change with long-term people that care about us like we expect in our clients? Or do we think that if we take a golf lesson one time, we're going to get better at the game, just like how we experience a PGA Summit, that one day education experience? I'm asking you guys. So that is where my journey has led to me believing that we need to be always being coached. We always need to be figuring out why we coach and what we truly believe in. So I just want to thank you guys for being here. Thank you for, seeing my pictures of my family and for, thankful for my wife, Kaylee, and my daughters, Adeline and Juliet, for just being an inspiration in just this journey of mine. And thanks to the RGX team with Will, Dan, Jay, Paul, Ross. Everybody that's kind of been a part of the process. I truly appreciate this whole experience. So thank you guys so much. And just want to open this up to some Q&A if you guys have anything for myself.
Like, first of all, great job. What a great story. And I just think this is another testimonial of what coaching can do for you as a coach. And like you said, coaches need to be coached. And you're no better example of that, because in just a very short period of time, you've been able to completely change kind of the way things are going and the direction of your business and what it is that you believe. And it can be really uncomfortable for coaches to take that leap or that make that change, because it has to come from internally. It has to start with you, but the results can just be magical. And it's just a really cool story that you shared. While you were making your presentation, Jay Cook is on here, and you'd mentioned Jay by name, and he had some really nice things to say about you. And I wanted to ask Jay if he wouldn't mind unmuting himself and just kind of sharing a little bit about the transformation that he's seen in you, Blake, in just a very short period of time. Okay.
Yeah, this is pretty exciting. I think I speak for any of the RGX mentors who work hard every day to try to turn the lights on a little bit. And it's so humbling to see your students making this kind of progress. And if I had anything to do with it, it makes my day on so many levels. When I started working with Blake, the goal was to help him achieve some awareness and acceptance, just a starting point. Who am I? Where did I come from? What do I need to do to be content in my personal and professional life? And I think we all have those kind of similar goals. And at first, his goals were there, but I don't think, or my impression was he couldn't see a path to them, or if he saw a path, the individual steps weren't actionable. And like so many others, coaches that we see who are so darn good at what they do, they're confident in their golf, they're confident in coaching ability, but not so much in terms of taking personal inventory, creating personal targets, meeting his goals, and reaching some sort of contentment in his life. And so I think in this case, Blake got a lot of support from others in the RGX community, not only in the program that he was in, the results-based group coaching, but also in the elite program. And that support when it comes from so many different avenues, it kind of fills in the blanks for folks. And Blake is a great example of that. And one last thing before I take up all the time, he didn't let his life get in the way. A lot of times we have people who say, yeah, I'd really like to get better, but here are all the excuses why I can't do it. So just a little, I hope Blake doesn't mind me saying this, but when he was in our elite program, which concentrated on communications, speaking in public, speaking about your core values and why other people should follow your journey, he was willing to be seen. He was willing to put himself out there along with his fears and his anxieties for everyone to see. And the proof of the pudding is during the elite sessions we did, he was there with either a daughter or two daughters who were toddlers. And while we were doing the class, he was both putting diapers on and feeding them breakfast. So, for anybody who thinks, I don't know if I can pull this off, I don't have enough time, a huge kudos to him for being able to work through that and achieve the success you're seeing today.
Yeah, thanks, Jay. I appreciate that. And the changing diapers while sharing stories is a fun experience. If anybody that wants to experience that, that's something to look forward to. But the journey was, and it's still going on. It's like I said, this journey doesn't stop after one day. It doesn't stop after 1 month. It's a continual journey that we all go through. And I know that Jay and Dan have been with RGX for many years now. And I think Jay, you've been here for a lot longer. So you've kind of seen the ins and the outs of people developing and growing. And we want this, and kind of when I was talking to Will, it's like, we want this secret sauce. We want to just kind of have the magic pill that is going to change our lives right away. And we think that, and when we experience that with a person that's looking for golf instruction, they're like, hey, I want to fix my driver, fix it today, fix it within the hour. And we're like, okay, that's going to take a miracle. There's probably zero chance that's going to happen. It's probably not going to transfer. Like, if you really want to get better, this needs to be a longer relationship. And that's kind of like, I think the biggest thing that I've taken away, especially not just with I think RGX has shaped my coaching, because if I can do what we've done in our programs and put that out in my community, that's just like, it's just a relationship building. And now that Dan and I and Jay and I and a lot of others, now we have relationships, we can kind of challenge each other with whatever we're going through, just like how we want to do that with our students. We want that same idea. We want to create that community. We want to create the communication and the relationships with our coaching and with who we surround ourselves with. So whether that's with coaching or with other coaches, I think it's very valuable and very important.
I think too that, what you've touched on is, when you decide to make the change from golf instructor to golf coach, what you're really doing is making the transition from transaction, right? Somebody's paying you money for a quick fix or whatever. You're making that transition from a transaction to a relationship. And coaching is an ongoing process. You're building long-term relationships with your players. And a couple of things come to mind. One, when I see my players, I'm always asking them questions about their lives off the golf course. I don't get to how their golf game is until like the fourth or fifth question in. It's, how is your family? How is your holiday? What have you been up to? How are you feeling? There's all these other things going on in people's lives. That's being in a relationship with somebody. And I told a player yesterday, I genuinely care about your life on and off the golf course. That's very different. And I think when you go ahead and say that, and that kind of leads me to my second point, when you're vulnerable with other people, you're going to be building deeper and more and longer lasting, more meaningful relationships. You just can't be afraid to put yourself out there. And that's part of making that transition to coaching as well. Because when you're in a relationship with somebody over a period of time, well, your families change, your health changes, your things happen in your personal life that you're going to share that you wouldn't share with the golf instructor if you're just there for 45 minutes to an hour to have them work on your driver, because that's transactional. So when you're part of the RGX community, that's what you're doing. You're sharing stories and hearing other stories, and you're learning how to develop deeper, more meaningful relationships as coaches, the same kind of relationships that you want to develop in your players. So I give you a lot of credit, Blake, because I think a lot of people, change is scary, and taking, Jay, as you were saying, that kind of personal inventory of, man, what is it that I really want? That can be scary, because what you're doing is, you're good at what you're doing, you're comfortable. But then when you get down to it, like Blake, for you, it was like there was still something kind of nagging at you. And it was, well, what is it that I really want? And so I just invite coaches, on this call to ask yourself that same question. What is it that you really want? Get down to what it is that is meaningful to you and in your life and whatever that is. And then once you really know what that is, then you can move towards it. But it's not easy, and it can be painful. It's hard because change is hard and nobody likes it. But no, I give you a lot of credit for that. And Jay, I really appreciate you sharing that story, because this is what it's all about, and it only took 5 months, so pretty cool.
Still going, still a lot of work, still some work ahead for sure.
Absolutely.
That's the cool thing about this. And Jay knows this, I feel like I'm not there yet. I feel like I'm not to the point. And I think Jay kind of gets frustrated with me saying that I don't accept the good things that sometimes, I always kind of want more. I kind of always want to get better and always improve. And I feel like I'm almost there. I think that was one of the things that Will kind of challenged me with is, hey, imagine yourself in a year from now. What is it going to do? What are you going to do in a year from now? What is it going to look like? And I couldn't see that. I think in the very beginning was, And I was like, I want it now. And I can't see kind of what that progression looks like. So I'm like, okay, in a year from now, you know what? I have a really good schedule. I probably have a really good family life. I'm going to go on a good vacation. I'm going to try to do different skills. I have these kind of goals in mind. And as I've kind of come within my last 5 months, I'm at that stage where I'm getting to that point of kind of where I set myself up for my most audacious goals. Similar to the audacious goals that I asked my clients, especially my program group, I was like, hey, what's your most audacious goal? I want to shoot 72. I want to shoot even pars. Like, what do you shoot right now? 80. Okay, sounds great. Like, how are we going to kind of get there? Imagine a year from now, can we get there? And kind of cheap on challenging who we are as coaches and challenge our students in that same way as kind of what Will's kind of was challenging me through this program. And as it's a process, it's not overnight. It's hard work. It's effort. It's funny. I like everything I'm saying right now is like I say to my clients every single day. So it's really like crap. It's kind of eye-opening sometimes as we speak as coaches. It's like we say the same things to our clients, you know.
We have to believe it ourselves.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, anybody who's on this call, feel free to unmute yourself. You're more than welcome to ask Blake any questions that you may have about his RGX journey. This is my favorite question, Blake, and this is something that we talked about before we got on this call, but that's that idea of, and you kind of referred to it with Will. Okay, so Will said, okay, well, look a year in the future. What does that look like? What would you tell the Blake Jirges of 5 months ago who's deciding, you know, is this for me? Should I join this RGX community? What's this all about? What would you tell yourself back then?
I mean, I would do it again. I mean, at first it was like, man, do I want to spend this money? Do I want to kind of put the time and energy into changing my life? And it took me 6 months, honestly. It took me time to think about it. And Will actually kind of pushed me to say, hey, let's just kind of you're at a new facility, kind of see what's going on. And he was honest and truthful with me, which is, I think, made me feel like it was like an honest program. It made me feel like he was an honest person. Luckily I'd known Will for many years and kind of the person that he is. And so when I signed up, if I were to kind of do it again, I'm like, Blake, just be patient. It's going to be okay. Like, things are going to work itself out. Do the work necessary. Make sure you have your schedule in place that is going to allow you to kind of put in the time and the effort. So I think that's one of the things I wish I'd done a little bit better. And I still struggle today of like follow through with my schedule, but at least I have a schedule in place that I can do my best to follow through with. I may not be perfect by any means, but I have something that I have in place. So I just wish I told myself, if I can do it again, be a little more patient. It's going to take time. Continue doing your best, be vulnerable. I think I was vulnerable throughout this journey for sure. But that's what I would, the patience is probably the most important, because I'm not a patient person. I'm like, I got to get it now. Like that's why I said, well, like, give me the scoring method. That's what I need right now. That's going to change my life. It's going to be impactful. But in reality, it's not about that. It's not about just like the TPI certification, or it's not about the extraordinary golf experience. It's about this journey, this lifelong journey that kind of went through. So,
see, I think what you're sharing here is something that you can share with the players who you coach about. You know, when you get vulnerable, you can say, look, I know what it's like to want something yesterday, because I'm the same way. So you find a way to relate to your players on a deeper level, and you say, look, you tell your players, I have to tell myself the same thing I'm telling you, which is be patient. It's a process. Trust what's in place. And that's when I think coaches are considering whether or not to come to RGX. I think that's just it. It sounds too good to be true. But then when you go through the process, it just works, and it just keeps working. And it's not just me saying it, or you saying it, or Jay saying it, or Will saying it. It's other coaches who are coming back and saying, listen to this success. And it's like, yeah, like we told you so, right? Like, but it's so cool to see, because there's never any professional jealousy. There's nothing but genuine enthusiasm and excitement for what those coaches are achieving, and there's enough bad golf out there for all of us. There really is. And it's incredible. It really is. It's just been awesome. Blake,
So
go ahead, Jay.
I got a question.
Oh,
So Blake, how are you going to feel when I drop the bombshell?
what bombshell?
How's this going to work? How's this going to work for you? Because now that I see how confident you are, we now have to start talking about year 2 and year 3. You all set to go?
I'm nervous. No.
At least you're being honest.
Yeah. Very honest.
You know what I've always said too about Jay is Jay holds you accountable. Like you were saying, Blake, the way we want to hold our players accountable, but he holds you accountable to putting in the work. And sometimes it's an uncomfortable deep dive, but he holds you accountable and he gets you to the finish line. And then you look back and you're like, man, it was so worth it. But when you're in the middle of it, you don't have the perspective of going, oh man, this is so hard. This is so painful, but yet it's so good. And it's so good for you. So I just think this is a really exciting journey. And, if you're looking to continue your RGX journey, if you're maybe like Blake was, and you're trying to decide, well, is this for me? All you have to do is click on the QR code or go to rgxcoach.com/explore. Let's set up a conversation. Let's set up a call. Let's talk to you about what it is that you really need, what it is that you want. Let's get down to your why. Why are you in the golf industry? What is it that you really want? What do you want to accomplish? What do you want to be known for? And those are the things that RGX can certainly help you do and help you uncover. And it's going to be an uncomfortable journey at times. But when you look back on it, like I think Blake would tell you, and certainly I will tell you, man, is it worth it? It's just so worth it. You got to put in the hard work. Just like if your players want to get better, they got to put in the hard work too. So, Blake, Is there anything else you'd like to add before we wrap up today?
No, I'm going to leave with that same comment I said earlier. What is my opportunity now? What is your opportunity today? What can you make a difference today for your better future?
Love it. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for attending today's call. If you missed it, a recording of this call will be posted on your profiles in Lightspeed BT. Blake, thank you so much for joining us. Hope you have a great day. Jay, good to see you again as always. And let's go out there and let's have a great day, a good rest of our weeks, and go out there and make a difference as golf coaches. Thank you guys. And thank you so much for joining us today. Have a great rest of your day.